Okay, in this video we're going to talk about childbirth and gynecologic, oops, misspelled that, need a O there, emergencies. And this is going to be Chapter 22 if you're following along in your book. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of define some different areas in female anatomy. So we have the birth canal. This is where the vagina and the lower part of the uterus. Then you have the cervix, which is going to be the small opening at the lower end of the uterus. And this chapter has a lot of information, and a lot more than I can cover in just one video in which the baby passes. Then you have the placenta. That's essentially the afterbirth. And that's what the umbilical cord is connected to. That's kind of where the nutrients travel back and forth to the baby. So that placenta is kind of that staging area that the umbilical cord goes to the baby. So let me kind of draw a little baby here. It's going to be kind of hard for me to draw. Here's our baby, and then the umbilical cord going to it from the placenta, and then that's where it's going to get its nutrients, and also it's going to transfer waste to the placenta, so it's going to go back and forth, and that's the way the mother gets nutrients to the baby, and the way the baby gets the waste away from it. It's a place for waste to be stored. Placenta, I don't think I spelled it all the way out. And then you have the umbilical cord, which I was just referring to. Umbilical cord, and that's what I was referring to here. And it's important for you to know these different parts, and I'm sure most of you do, just so that if you ever have to deliver a baby, you never know. I've been lucky enough where I haven't had to. At least you know the steps. Now I have delivered some calves. You may notice by my accent, I have that country accent. I was raised in the country, and we had a lot of cattle, and I've had to assist in some calves being birthed, and or giving birth to calves, and so I'm sure it's a little different than a human, but at least the overall process is pretty much the same. So amniotic sac, and I have 2 kids, and I've been there for both of their births, and so it's an exciting time. If you've never gone through it, you've got something to look forward to. Anyway, so you have the amniotic sac, which essentially surrounds the fetus, so it's going to protect the fetus from any damage. It surrounds it and cushions it from any kind of blows, so cushions and protects, and that's where the amniotic fluid is at. So when the water breaks, that's where it's coming from. It's that amniotic fluid, because the amniotic sac has broken. Then you have crowning, And what's happening on crowning is that's where the head starts to press. So the head of the baby is pressing up against the vaginal opening. And so that's the baby's about to be born. When you start seeing crowning, get ready, because it won't be long. And then you have bloody show. This is also an indicator that labor is about to start. You have a mucus plug. May have maybe a little bit bloody. And it's kind of like a discharge right before labor begins. This may accompany the water breaking as well, so it might have bloody show and then the water may break. And then you have labor, and labor has 3 stages, but this the first, when labor begins, you'll have uterine muscle contractions. So let's talk a little bit about delivery procedures. This is how to prepare. So if you know you're going to have to deliver a baby, this is some of the stuff that you'll need. So you need clean sheets to wrap the baby in. You need a plastic bag, and that's for the placenta. And you're going to need to take that to the hospital. Gloves to protect you, or any type of personal protective equipment, face shields, whatever you need. Sanitary pads. A lot of times you can you'll need a rubber bulb. You've probably seen the little sucker devices. It's to help clear the nose and mouth so that the baby can breathe, clear it of any mucus or blockage. And then a sterile gauze. And you can use this to wipe the baby's mouth, clear off any kind of mucus. And then strips of gauze, or something like clean shoelaces, anything that you can tie that's clean, because you're going to need to tie the cord, the umbilical cord. So that's some of the stuff you'll need. Let's talk about different abnormal births, abnormal deliveries. Oops. There we go. So we're going to do look at abnormal deliveries. You have prolapsed, prolapse cord. What's happening here is the baby, let me see if I can draw the baby here. So we have the baby's head here. What's happened is, cross his little arms, or her arms. Sorry, artwork's not the best. So you've got the baby's head here, and somehow the cord gets down here and starts to be delivered before the baby. And what can happen is the baby's head can pinch up against this when it starts to be delivered, and if the delivery doesn't happen fast enough, it can cut off oxygen. So it's a danger of suffocation. So suffocation for the baby. And then you have a breech birth position. Let me scroll over. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my pen. There we go. Too far. Let's go up here. So we have breech birth. Presentation. So what's happening here is you may have, let me draw this out. So here we have the mother and we have the baby. So the baby's head will be up here. And what may happen is its bottom, so these are its legs folded here, its bottom may be presenting first, and so, or even extremities, maybe the legs. But again, the danger here is suffocation. Because what can happen is, as the baby's delivered, if you can't get the head out within 3 minutes, you're going to have to, there's different methods of pushing on the stomach and what have you to try to force the baby out. But I'm not going to go through all those because I'm going to run out of time if I do. So you can read the book and go through that. About 3 to 4% of all births are this breech birth presentation, or breech birth, some sort of breech birth. And then you have limb presentation. So what happens there is it's just like the breech birth presentation. Instead of the buttocks or a portion of the limb, may have the foot start to present first, and you've got some of the same problems that you're going to see with the breech birth position, where the head could possibly, you could have problems delivering it. And so it could be anything from an arm, a leg more common, or a foot first. And then they're normally in a breech position here, being lower body first. And then so those are some of the abnormal deliveries that you could potentially experience. Again, this chapter is extensive. I mean, it goes into how to deliver a baby, and it's really long. Well, the whole chapter is not really long, but the whole description is. And so I didn't have enough room to cover that. I just wanted to cover some of the major areas. And then you can go through the book, you can go through the presentation or the PowerPoint presentations and get more information in more detail. Because I do think it's important to know, but I just want to hit some of the major points. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.